Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to Airy Fairy Tarot. How are y'all doing? Well, I think everybody's being shattered right now in one way or another. And somebody asked me to do a reading, and their sun sign is not Gemini. And I really tried to bring myself to do their sun sign. They do have Gemini in their chart, though. And Gemini just kept speaking. So, I'm here to listen. So you are first when I do this round of zodiac signs. Anyway, that's enough blah blah. So I did some meditating before I started shuffling cards. And I was going for one deck, and then another deck was calling to me, the Crowley deck, and said, wait, look at me first. So what I get from what I see, the first thing that came out was the Two of Wands. And in this deck, it's called Dominion. But what really struck me was this Mars in Aries. And, right now Mars is in Aries. So, I do astrology charts and stuff too. I'm not like, whatever. I'm not like some astrologers, but, I've learned quite a bit. So I at least know that much. And it started telling me a story. And I guess I don't need to show every single card because I want to look at others. But what this Mars in Aries and then the story that followed showed me is that, well, kind of looks like you've kind of been through a lot of, sorry, let me stutter. It kind of looks like you've been through too much bullshit, too much, man, this sounds too good to be true, but it's got to be true. And so you go after it, and you just discover that it was bullshit. And it just feels like it's almost like you're tired of following your dreams. And that kind of makes me sad. But I think, and it could just be one big thing that happened for you. It looks like somebody really ignited your passion. They really keyed into something that you truly would like to manifest, to experience, to create, whatever. And then it kind of looks like you got stabbed in the back, or people just had a bunch of words, but they were liars, or I don't know what it was that happened. Usually when I see the Ten of Swords, it's like, it's usually like a recurring thing, either with the same person or the same scenario, where people tell you what you want to hear and you so want to believe it, and then you get stabbed in the back. But then they say these beautiful words and tell you what they want to hear, and then you get stabbed in the back. And it's like, well, how many times do you have to get stabbed in the back before you realize all they have is knives for you? And so it does feel like there's been a bit of a heartbreak. But because of all of this, and there's something to do with this Mars and Aries, and Chiron's there, that's the woundedness and whatever. If I hear more of that, I will. But it's really feeling like the Mars activating Venus in your sign. Excuse me, my voice. And I don't know if you follow astrology. Some of you may, some of you may not. But yes, Venus has been in Gemini for a long time. I don't know all the dates, but Venus went retrograde in Gemini. She's just coming out of shadow, like today or something like that. So that's significant too. I guess that could be why your reading wanted to happen now. Some correlation between Venus coming out of shadow, Mars is in Aries, and is in shadow because Mars is going to get all the way at the end of Aries and then go retrograde, and Mars is going to have a long transit through Aries. And I believe that transit ends in February of next year. So what does all that mean? Well, I'd say because, Mars is the male and Venus is the female, right there it speaks to some sort of balance occurring in yourself. Gemini being the sign of the communicator. and getting things done, getting tasks completed, and then Mars, you know, it being in Aries, and that's the go after it, go after it. And that's so much of what I see. It was the Queen of Wands reversed, and then it was the Ten of Swords, but it looks very fiery. And then it's also got the Ace of Wands upright. But these three are all in a line, and there's something like, because the way they're all laid out, it just feels like you fizzled out. You were really excited about something, and they just had knives for you, and I'm sorry about that. But then what you have over here, and it wanted to be really set apart, this Two of Wands. And I've got it over here. And then we've got the Knight of Discs, or the Knight of Pentacles. And the way he comes out, he is gazing at this Two of Wands. And so I just feel like all that you have been through, you haven't lost the fire. But there's something about this Knight of Discs looking at the Two of Wands, which says to me that you want a more solid foundation. You're done with people igniting your hopes and your dreams just for it to fall apart, like a house of cards. It's funny, here's the cards. You want to look for something that you can start creating a solid foundation, and you're willing to take your time now. And that could be it too. Maybe you were falling for some sort of like get rich quick schemes or that sort of thing, but you're realizing now that to have anything of lasting value, you need to slow down and take your time. And the good thing about all of this is that I think it's given you some clarity about what you really want, about what you'd really like to. I know, like in the Rider-Waite deck, the Two of Wands, it shows a person holding the world in their hand. Well, my hand looks so funky like that. The world is your oyster. What do you want to create? So now it's like, take a deep breath, take your time, slow down. And there's something about this Mars and Aries and this long, slow transit. If you let it build, and this is about following your passion, but laying a solid foundation. There's something about learning from Earth energy. So that's the first part. I did want to look at these other cards, but I just kind of want to leave this guy, the Knight of Discs, looking over at the Two of Wands. And that's, I may show you that again, I'm not sure. So I did shuffle these. I didn't feel like I was done. The other deck wanted to get that message out so much that I put these ones aside, but I felt like we were pretty close. Okay, so yeah, so you got the Eight of Cups. So it is walking away from the bullshit. And, you tried. And that's just it. Like, there's some sort of emotional fulfillment that was there. There's some sort of, don't feel like you're walking away in defeat. There was value there. There was something that nourished you. There was something, all of this stuff that you just learned, you gained so much value from it. And now you've learned what not to do. You've learned to recognize when people are bullshitting you. You've learned to recognize it, and you've learned to walk away. And man, is there value in that. And it's funny, as I looked at the timer, it was 9 minutes and 9 seconds. And 9 is that energy of done, completion, 10 is completion, but 9 is like the cycle is coming to an end. And so we go from the 8 to the 9. And so again, it's like completing a lesson. Those 9s just really hit me hard. And then this, there was value in this. So what you walk away from, again, I don't know how many different ways. I'm sure you get it, but but if you can go into that mindset, if you can go to that vibration of like even being grateful, I'm grateful for all I learned from these people. And, you probably cared a lot about either whoever it was you were investing yourself in, or whatever it was you were investing yourself in, or a blend of it all. I feel like there was a lot of passion for it. There was a lot of belief. There was a lot of hope. And so, one of the lessons I've learned very strong is that sometimes it takes something or someone getting really into your heart and really opening you up to a deep love, just so they can turn around and play the villain in exactly the way that you need a villain character to be the catalyst so that you'll change. Because you can dream and you can imagine and you can all these things, but sometimes there's just a door closing that needs to happen to get it from here, to get it to manifest out here, if that makes sense. And so sometimes it takes getting your heart broken so that you'll stop feeding something that's been draining you, that's been distracting you, that's been like a codependency or just a misguided belief for your own personal growth. So when the catalyst happens and you walk away in anger or sadness or whatever it is, disgust or whatever, do you see that you take so much wisdom with you, and you leave the waters behind. I love that all the cups are still standing. I love that the waters are here, and now you're ready to go towards greater heights. You've done the reflecting. You take all of that with you. So if you can trust that you've lost nothing, and then behind it you've got this Eight of Pentacles reversed. So yeah, it just says, it wasn't gonna blossom. It was not going to work. You went into it for what you got out of it, and that was it, and that was enough. Okay? So bless and release. Trust that. So again, I talk it to death, I know, but I just want to make sure you get it. So they're giving a little bit of warnings about now, and I'm glad I kept this guy out, this Knight of Discs, looking at this Two of Wands, getting very clear on what it is you want to create. Now, it's so easy to walk away from something that didn't serve you and have a clearer view of what you want. And then before you start giving yourself the chance to lay the foundation of, okay, I'm doing it now, you start to panic. Oh God, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, that brain gets going. Watch out for distraction. Don't let yourself be distracted, because you're just going to loop yourself into quick fixes again, and you've just learned that lesson. Don't look for something to save you. Don't look for the quick fix. Invest in yourself. Believe in yourself. There's something about this Mars and Aries that is bringing you into balance, because, what is Venus? Venus rules luxury. Venus rules receiving. It's the feminine principle. Venus rules being provided for. So just take a deep breath and get very clear and lay the slow foundation, okay? So be aware of that. And then, then we've got the Star. So what I'm feeling with this card is that you are so close to, you're so much closer than you realize. If you'll take the necessary steps, if you'll discipline yourself, if you'll lay the foundation, if you'll take the slow moving thing, then you may be like, oh, well, it's going to take me da-da-da-da-da, and it might. But whether it takes you, 10 months or 10 years or whatever, if it's what your heart really wants, then isn't it worth it? And there's something about trusting that you will be provided for. If you're aligning with your truth, if you're being honest with yourself, being true to yourself, being true with, what am I here to do? If you're an artist, or if whatever it is that you are wanting to create right now, just honor that, because you're the star, baby. You're the star. And it's like I start to want to go into all that. And it's funny because it's like, I know what I start to say, the automatic, the star is da 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 da. But there's some sort of hesitation. It's funny because it's this Aquarius energy. Usually, I don't always like to identify the sun sign associated with certain major arcana because I want to give you all the energy of it. But I am feeling this Aquarian thing. And okay, and sometimes I stop myself because I don't want to make proclamations. I want to check myself a little bit. I'm like, is this about being in the age of Aquarius? But I'm sincerely feeling there's something about this particular bucket right here, this jar. What I was going to start to say is how, nourishing the land and nourishing the water, pouring the water back into the water. There's something about valuing your emotions right here, and also nourishing the land so that you can grow, you can expand yourself, you can evolve. But my eye is really drawn to this one, and they're very like focusing on the word of Aquarius. And there's something about validating your emotions. And maybe are you not validating your emotions? Maybe with all that you've been through, it's a shattering experience, it feels like, and it's sometimes hard to admit vulnerability. And I'm feeling that with this. There's some sort of vulnerability, and that's this slow moving energy too. This vulnerability that and I'm just kind of listening, like I'm hearing something about an ego, but I don't want to like throw that on you, but maybe just see where the resistance is. And it helps to write things down, see where the resistance is. What are you protecting? Where is that hard shell? What, take a deep breath, what am I protecting? And just kind of go into it. What am I resisting? What am I refusing to look at? What am I denying or whatever? And it really does help to write it down. What is the thing? What are my beliefs about the thing? And then go into that. Is that really even what I believe? And maybe it really is, but is it what you believe? Or is it just what you've been told over and over and over to believe? And if you could choose to believe it a different way, if you were open to believing it a different way, how would you like to see this? How would you like to approach this? And then you realize you can nourish that. You are allowed to change your beliefs. You are allowed to get in tune with a deeper truth in yourself. And while spiritual teachers and religions and whatever can be, there can be value in that, and maybe some people are well-meaning, but it's not always honest. I try to be gentle and, tactful about how I say things, but if it's not honest about who you are and what you believe, and if you believe it just because you're afraid to believe otherwise, maybe someone has told you you have to be afraid to question or something like that, just looking at that, well, who am I afraid of, and just that it opens a whole can of worms of beliefs. It really does. But it's okay to question your beliefs. Can you bring yourself to a belief that it's safe to question? If it's God, if it's the goddess, if it's all that is, if it's divine love, if it's great spirit, higher self, whatever it is, or if it's just whatever, mom, dad, whatever. If you can just maybe call to the essence of whatever that is and say, I am confused right now. I need clarity. Please create a space around me so that I feel safe in questioning my beliefs. And please help me come into a resonance with love, with self-love, with love of understanding and clarity. And I know I get all esoteric and spiritual, and you can do this as deeply as you want to, but you're the star. And there's something about this nourishing, and I keep hearing Aquarius. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, it feels like, the guides are saying by Aquarius season, which, is the end of January and most of February of next year, 2021. I can't believe I'm even talking about that. By then, it feels like you'll have done a lot of emotional healing. And wow, I think we're at the end, because after that, you've got friends. You've got people that you really can rejoice with. With this slow moving and working on who you are and getting in touch with what you really feel and what you really believe, and laying a solid foundation and getting very clear on the world that you are wanting to create, the projects you really want to create, the relationships, whatever it is, you find that as you work on your healing, people are showing up that really are there for you, that really do want to rejoice for you, that really do want to see your success, that they're not promising you anything. They're there being your support and saying, you can do this, I believe in you. And they're mirroring to you that the answers are all inside of you, that you have access to all that you need, that you are more intuitive than you know, you're more divinely guided than you know, and you don't need anybody's validation, because when you feel it inside here, that's the truth. Now I feel like I gotta sing, can you feel it? Can you feel the love? Can you feel it? Can you feel? Okay, well, I'm scratchy. I don't know why I sang at a little show the other day. Whatever. So do you see that this is a sincere emotional support? And then I thought this was going to be the last one, but as they're revealing themselves, this is more. Now you've got all these cups. We talk about emotional fulfillment, 3 of cups and rejoicing. Then we've got 6 of cups, and this is all fulfillment. And this is like, this can be like a romance from like, a love past, or this can be childhood friendships. But what I'm kind of feeling is like a return to innocence, a return to when you were a child, you were so much more in tune with who you are and what you wanted and who you knew yourself to be. And so I feel like it's a return to that truer self, more in tune with that honest, raw sense of security and safety and freedom to dream, freedom to align, freedom to feel good about yourself, freedom to know who you really are, and to validate yourself and to have self-worth from inside here flowing through you, instead of any kind of conformity to receive the approval from outside people. This is a return to your truer self. And then after that, we've got justice. And isn't it funny, we were talking about the balance between the feminine and the masculine. Oh, and that's right, talking about Aquarius season, and I think Mars leaves Aries, I think it's the very end of Aquarius season in 2021. So by the end of Aquarius season, by the time Mars moves into Taurus, I think you're going to find a good balance. I think you're going to see that you're, laying that solid foundation, giving yourself time to process and to get very clear on what you want, and slowly building and creating and going for who you know you are and what you really want and what you're here to create and to achieve. You've got justice. You've got, well, justice. What more can I say than that? All right, Gemini, I think that is that's about as good as it can get, except hiding under here we've got the sun. So walking away from all the drama, walking away from all the heartache, walking away from the bullshit, you, and we're in Leo season right now, so you begin now. You begin now. Embrace that inner child now. Embrace that innocence, that love. Return to your authentic sense of self. The world is your oyster, love. All right. So once again, my name is Fairlight. This is Airy Fairy Tarot. If you would like a personal reading, go ahead and hit me up at airyfairytarot@gmail.com, or I'm on Facebook too. And I don't know what else to say. Peace and blessings and good tidings to you. Bye.